Laptop and PC sales have been lagging behind this year, but that could soon change come 2026. In an exclusive chat with ET Now, Acer India's Chief Business Officer Sudhir Goyal has said that the company is scaling up its laptop production by 50% starting next fiscal as it hopes to meet demand from the government and education sector. The projection comes even as Acer expects to hit the 15% market share in India by the end of 2025, powered by an expanding consumer segment. I got talking to Acer's business head on some of these projections and the company's capacity utilization game plan at its recently inaugurated Puducherry facility. Here's a slice from that conversation.
Let me start with the Puducherry plant. We inaugurated it about a few months back. The installed capacity, as you mentioned, was about 3 lakhs. And of course, this facility is not only doing the laptop, but it's also doing the all-in-one servers, interactive flat panel. It's a big facility. The laptop capacity, which we kept, was 3 lakhs. I mean, right now we are scaling it up because we have to add, as the technology is changing, the newer and newer SKUs. We are quite hopeful that we will be able to achieve our capacity utilization, 100% capacity utilization during the complete financial year, and maybe even more. Because as we see, the demand is expanding with the introduction of AI, and we have been fortunate enough to also participate with certain state governments in the large education tenders. So we do not see a demand limitations, but definitely the technological changes will have to make sure that we keep revamping our facilities.
Right. So you spoke about diversification, newer products from the facility, and also in terms of production growth and scaling up as well. What kind of diversification are we looking at, and what is the scale up likely to be?
See, number one, the diversification is, it's not that the entire market is moving towards the laptop. With the NEP and also some of the state government announcing the state education policies, we have seen that the smart class is becoming a reality. A lot of state governments are investing in the smart class, and some of the devices like the interactive flat panels, etc., are replacing the standard blackboard which we are all used to. So that's a new evolving technology. We have a sister company, Altos, which does that business on the interactive flat panel. We are the market leader. And we assume, I mean, we feel that as we move up in the 2026 and 2027, many state governments and the private education will actually adopt the digitization to impart the quality education. So it's a big focus area for us. Coming back to the laptop, I mean, we have seen minor growth, I mean, in the single digit percentage in the year 2025. As we move forward, the AI is becoming a buzzword. We have seen a lot of news. So AI, when we talk about not only the data centers and on the servers and other, let's say, storage devices, but even the clients need to be AI enabled.
Right.
So 2025, the consumers have made some choices. Some people have moved towards the AI, but as we move forward, we'll see that many adoption of AI is going to lead to increase in the demand for the laptop.
Right.
So whether it's enterprise, whether it's a consumer, all of them will have to see, we expect a lot of growth in the segment.
What do you think the expansion or the next phase of production will look like?
Our objective is in the next financial year, that means from April 2026 to the March 2027, our commitments to the government and to our own internal customers is that we should be able to scale up our production capacities of the laptop by at least 50% over the next financial year. Obviously, there are challenges of many sorts. We have seen the shortages coming up. We have seen the technological shift doing. So adding the new projects, new product lines take its own time. But we are quite hopeful that the next financial year, we should be able to scale up our local production facility by about 50%.
And should you manage to stay in Puducherry, there is still ample space for expansion.
There is ample space for the expansion in the current facility, but it's a question of you do the complete maths to see which one makes more sense, both on the logistics side as well as the operational efficiency side.
Right. And this discourse is being had even as the company has outlined a plan to achieve 15% market share by the end of this year and also drive that largely through offline sales network expansion.
Absolutely.
What is the plan with regard to this, and are you on track to achieving the numbers?
We are on track. I mean, as I said, that the last 3-4 months there have been a lot of let's say, volatility in the demand side as well as on the supply side. So we are quite hopeful that we'll still be going closer to the 15%. And as I mentioned, that we are present across the country through the online and offline channel both.
Right.
But what we see that our expansion plan for the next couple of years in the consumer segment will essentially come from the offline. We are already a strong player in the online. So for the last 1 year, we have been in the journey of expanding our exclusive brand outlets. We have added many outlets this year. And our next 3 years plans is to actually double the number of EBOs, as we call it, or the exclusive brand outlets in the next couple of years. With that will give us the reach, that will give the customer the choice of, let's say, touch and feel before making a choice of what kind of product he wants to buy. And we will also be able to showcase the complete range because we have always believed that one solution does not fit all the customer needs. The customers have different affordability quotient, different practical application quotient, etc. So they should have an option and they should be able to get all that under one roof. So our EBO expansion plans are on track, and I'm sure in the next 3 years, we'll be able to double it up.
So doubling these EBOs, and what does it translate to in terms of sales growth for Acer India?
It should result into, at least in the market share growth.
So do you think the PC industry can replicate the success of the smartphone industry? Are there lessons to learn really from how smartphones went from nothing to massive penetration over the course of what, half a decade to a little more?
Oh, yes.
What are the learnings that you think the PC industry can take from there?
See, we can definitely learn a lot, number one, but these two devices are different. I mean, the mobility or the connectivity, especially for the emotional population of India, we want to stay connected, right? And despite being on the move. So that has helped the smartphone industry to actually grow at a much faster pace, right? And of course, the government policies, the telecom industry, they have done a wonderful job to actually get the, let's say, the products and the services at an affordable quotient. Today, from the data pricing perspective, India is one of the lowest country. I mean, where we can get data at a much lower rate as compared to many other countries. That has helped the people to start using the device, the smartphone as a device, not only for the voice, but also for the data.
Right.
And then, of course, the push from the government of the various applications, Jan Dhan Yojana, etc., has helped a lot.
Right.
We have to learn to see that how do we ensure that these kind of applications we are able to offer to the customers at an affordable price. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the key for us. I mean, we have always debated because the PC industry has evolved more as a commercial or an enterprise device, right? I mean, and it has migrated to the consumer. While the smartphone started as a consumer device and then started becoming more of a commercial.
Right.
So that's a journey, right? So it's a bit different. But I think time has come for us to actually talk about what is the application or the usage of the PCs, how the life will become much better, whether in terms of work, in terms of entertainment, in terms of education, etc.
Right.
And that should be possible. I mean, it's a question of time. I'm sure we will see that. If you see in the education space, I mean, we have seen a lot of progress in that. Today, especially after the COVID, we know that the remote content delivery is possible. If we want to have a quality education, and it's not possible in a state, in a country like us with that kind of vast thing, to get a quality teacher at the remotest of the corner. So digital education is the way to move forward. And of course, we have seen the progress in that segment in the last couple of years. So that's going to be one device. And when a student in school touches a device, a PC as a device, I am sure his requirement when he's going back home will also increase. So there are multiple factors which are there. And I'm sure as we move forward, we will get a much better penetration in our country also.
Right. So for Acer itself, what's the product pipeline looking like, and which market segments are you targeting going forward?
We are present across the segments. I mean, in the government education, we are the market leaders. We continue to stay there because we feel that it's a big market and we can innovate. And there are a lot of things which we can do and participate with the government in providing the education. So we participate with most of the state governments and the central government in the education projects, talking about the various newer technologies. We talk about not only the PCs, we talk about the interactive flat panel, we are talking about a VR, MR headset. So we know that as the quality of education is changing, the demand of the students and the parents will also go up. So that's one area which definitely we like to grow. But at the same time, beyond education, the enterprise remain a focus for us. With the Windows refresh, we do see in the next couple of years, most of these enterprises who have their devices bought in the last few years will have to go in for a refresh. So that's definitely one. AI adoption is going to be faster, and therefore most of our PCs, we are trying to migrate towards the AI-enabled PCs, so that depending on the customer choice, his applications, he can use that. That is coming both on the stationary devices like all-in-ones and desktop, and of course on the laptop, etc.
Right.
So we see that enterprise refresh, consumer AI adoption, and of course we need to talk about gaming. The gaming market globally is booming. I mean, a lot of about a few years back, if you talk about in India, the gaming was still saying, it's a question of waste of time. It is becoming an important thing. I mean, it's becoming a profession itself. If you talk about, even the PM talked about the esports and the content development on the esports. So we see that the gaming market, whether on the desktop or on the mobile, on the laptop, is definitely going to grow a lot. So we have to introduce the newer solutions depending on the customer choice again, whether it's a serious gamer, whether it's a casual gamer.
Right.
So we should have the various solutions. So these are the market where the Acer is focusing, and that will lead to the growth for us.
Right. And presence-wise across the country, where are you looking in terms of market presence? You have that plant in Puducherry. I'm sure your South Indian presence is also quite solid. But where do you go from here in terms of market presence?
So South has been a stronghold for us for always. I mean, as of now, if you look at our reach to the exclusive brand outlets, we have about 90, should be touching about 100 by the year end on the exclusive brand outlets. We have at least 2,000 touch points. I mean, these are not the exclusive brand outlets, but that's the multi-brand outlets and the touch points available in the South. If you look at some of the states like Kerala, I mean, in the consumer segment, we have been a market leader for many, many years, and we continue to do so. Even the current Onam festival period has shown us that we have the connect with the customer, and we are a preferred brand. But we have to go beyond that, and there are market segments where the penetration is low. Maybe we like to educate more. So the other parts of the country, I mean, we may have to concentrate more.
Which parts would these be?
I mean, we would definitely be on the, what we have seen the last few years is, there's a myth saying that the tier 3 and tier 4 towns do not have the money or the affordability. That's not. If you see the smartphone market, we have also seen the last year, our shipments when we track toward the pin code, saying that the market in the tier 3 and tier 4 is booming. I mean, the penetration ratio in the tier 1 and tier 2 is pretty high, and the affordability of the tier 3 and tier 4 increasing. I mean, that's one segment which we want to go. So we will go deep into the country where, let's say, the reach is of most of the brands is not there.
And we're talking beyond South India?
We are talking about beyond South India. We are talking about in the country, there are many areas which, let's say, are considered tier 3 or tier 4 towns, or where we consider the penetration is low. And the reason the industry always thought maybe they will not be able to afford. But with the aspiration value of the Indians so high, the GDP growing that much, we think that's a growth engine for us. And therefore, most of our expansion will actually come from tier 3 and tier 4 towns across the country.
Well, Acer India, they're headquartered in Bangalore and looking to double down on its presence in South India before moving beyond, even as that Puducherry facility is all set to achieve 100% capacity utilization come FY27. Right, moving on, the Telangana government has begun a rare land conversion drive along Hyderabad's outer ring road. The state's Industries and Commerce Department has directed that well over 9,292 acres of industrial land located along the ORR be reclassified into land tracts for mixed-use development. Now, the decision is in line with the Hyderabad Industrial Lands Transformation Policy and aims at maximizing mixed-use development along the peripheries of the city in order to keep up with office space demand and leasing activity. The reclassified land can then be used for homes, commercial buildings, recreational spaces, hospitals, retail spaces, and IT parks. Interestingly, just about half of the lands classified for mixed-use development, that's around 4,740 acres, are unoccupied plots. The Telangana Industrial Infrastructure Corporation, or TGIIC, will serve as the nodal agency to implement the transition. From Telangana to Karnataka now, it's been a constant tussle of power in Karnataka, especially in recent times, with multiple reports suggesting that Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is engaged in a battle to stay in power with his very own deputy, D.K. Shivkumar. Adding to the complications now is the state's Home Minister G. Parameshwara, who has thrown his hat in the ring. At a recent event, the Home Minister said, and I quote, "I'm always in the race. What's the big deal? I was the KPCC president in 2013. We brought the government." End quote. He also added in the same breath, "We don't know what would have happened if I had won in that situation." And the Karnataka's Home Minister's comments adds a layer of complexity to power equations in the state, which has thus far seen only Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar have an open tussle for the state's top job. Now, while the government has just stopped short of falling, the tussle has sown the seeds of worry within the Congress, given that the strength of the opposition-led BJP is quite significant in Karnataka itself. In fact, let's listen in to what Parameshwara said on Karnataka's Game of Thrones.
Government. Till now, I have never said that I single-handedly brought the government to power. Everyone has worked for the party and people voted us to power. So we won. In some way, I faced defeat that day. We don't know what would have happened if I had won in that situation. There's a convention and the PCCC president is given an opportunity. In some situations, that doesn't happen.
ಕಾರ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅವರು ಹಣ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಇದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಅವರು ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Moving southeast from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu now, the state government has ruled out the extension of the special intensive revision drive in the state. Reports have said that the Tamil Nadu government has in fact asked all its enumeration officials to turn in updated voter tallies and data by December 4th, 2025, which was the original deadline for the completion of the updated voter enumeration activity. The state has been seeing its fair share of troubles with regard to the SIR rollout, with Revenue Department officials complaining of long work hours on account of SIR duty, with some of them even claiming to have been at work till 1 a.m. on certain days. Now, the Tamil Nadu government reassured these officials of extensions being granted and considered as a means of easing the burden placed on their shoulders. However, that doesn't seem likely going forward, given that the state is choosing to complete the rollout at the earlier assigned deadline. Now, while neighbouring Kerala has challenged the SIR rollout in the Supreme Court, Tamil Nadu has just stopped short of taking the legal route, leaving that option to individual parties like the DMK and the CPIM. The state has, however, registered its protest at the timing of the SIR, just ahead of an election and in the middle of the northeast monsoon. Now, keeping with the SIR rollout in Tamil Nadu itself, in Salem, voters are being reminded to turn in their filled-in SIR forms just before the deadline through innovative ways, on milk packets in this case. The state's dairy cooperative Arvin is seeing its latest milk packets bearing a reminder to all citizens to turn in their SIR forms at the nearby polling booth well ahead of that deadline on the 4th of December. We've learned that nearly 1.5 lakh milk packets from Arvin have been dispatched with the reminder in full view, lest voters forget to fill in their details and turn them in. And while the pilot initiative has begun in Salem, reports say Arvin is also planning to roll out reminders across milk packets scheduled for dispatch to other districts as well. Right, it's been a long time coming, but the Chennai Metro Rail has finally floated tenders for the procurement of 28 six-coach trains for Phase 1 and Phase 1 extension of the Mass Rapid Transit project. Now, the six-coach trains mean that 1,500 passengers can be moved at a time on an entire train, in contrast to a capacity of just 1,000 on the four-coach trains that are in operation today. While the Chennai Metro Rail Limited, or CMRL, has said that it would take 4 to 5 months to award the tender itself, the OEM selected will have a good 2 years to build and deliver the updated product. This means that the Chennai Metro Rail will have these new coaches by 2028. So the city is all set to wait for another 2 years in order to optimize capacity on its metro rail, despite demand seeing monthly spikes as patronage for the transit line increases. Now, the entire project has an outlay of 2,036 crore rupees to procure coaches with LCD screens and mobile charging points. The Chennai Metro Rail has been contending with an increase in demand by increasing the frequency of its existing trains, thereby carrying more passengers than ever before. Keeping with trains now, the proposed Chennai-Hyderabad 778-kilometer long high-speed rail corridor has received a shot in the arm, with the South Central Railways submitting the final alignment proposal for the project itself. The railway authorities have submitted the alignment so that it can be included in the detailed project report, or DPR, as a means of seeking out approvals in order to keep survey on track. The proposed project, should it come through, will see the journey time between Chennai and Hyderabad reduced from the present day 12 hours to approximately 2 hours and 30 minutes. My colleague Samir joins us with the latest from the alignment proposal. Samir, it looks like this project is inching closer to finally becoming a reality.
Chennai-Hyderabad bullet train corridor, or the high-speed corridor, is inching closer to reality. On the request of Tamil Nadu government, now the South Central Railways has revised the alignment and has given a final alignment to be included in the DPR to the Tamil Nadu state government. What we are picking up from our sources, that on the request of Tamil Nadu government to include Tirupati as a station on the route of this Chennai-Hyderabad high-speed corridor, that has been accepted, and a new alignment has been finalized by the South Central Railways. And this alignment and the finalized alignment has been shared to the state government that needs to be included in the DPR, the detailed project report. But why this corridor is very important? It is important not just from the economic perspective, but also from the religious perspective as well. Chennai to Hyderabad, 778 kilometers of route length. As of now, if you travel by any other train, it takes roughly around 12 to 13 hours. But with the proposed high-speed corridor that will be equipped to run train at a speed of roughly around 250 kmph plus, of about 320 kilometers per hour, that is the higher speed that the government is looking at, then the distance between the two destinations will be reduced to just 2.5 hours. Moreover, it will bring economic prosperity to the entire corridor. In addition to this, Tirupati being one of the prominent religious destinations will give further impetus to the religious tourism as well. So considering all this aspect, now the state government has received a detailed DPR from the South Central Railways, and it will be further processed. But this is being marked as a very important step in the direction of developing a high-speed rail corridor network in the country.
Well, Samir there joining us with all the updates from that high-speed rail corridor that's all set to become a step closer to reality. Well, on that high voltage, high speed note, that's pretty much all we have on this edition of South Central. Thanks so much for tuning in to catch up with everything making headlines in South India. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow with more news and updates from the 5 southern states. Meanwhile, keep staying to ET Now for more news and headlines from markets, business and beyond. For the moment, it's goodbye from us.